This presentation is called the Apple Share Cycle and the Cook Buyback Effect. It's regarding a possible 3-year recurring pattern that Apple is going through due to its development cycle and emerging market purchase patterns. If it is true, it appears that we are now in a good buying opportunity that may continue for a couple of months, at which point in time Apple is likely to turn around due to many forces that will push the stock back into its prior trajectory. The first of these forces which I would like to discuss is Warren Buffett, or Berkshire Hathaway, which has become a major shareholder since 2016. In that time, it's purchased about 250 million shares, possibly more, depending on what it's done over the last quarter plus so far this year. In any case, it's likely to remain a major shareholder and also to continue purchasing if the company goes through further weakness. Chances are it will be buying below 140 based on where it was buying in force before. Certainly below 126 based on Berkshire's 2017 annual report. It looks like a likely purchase area, but I believe it was purchasing in force up until it got above about $145 a share. In the last quarter that it did report, when Apple was above 185, Berkshire only purchased 500,000 shares, which was down significantly from all of its prior purchases, where each quarter before that it was doing like millions and millions of shares. So chances are it is not purchasing above 180, but is below and could already be purchasing. In any case, there's likely a Buffett put in Apple shares right now, and that is pretty good. Another major purchaser is Apple itself, which can be undeniable at this point. There really is no greater purchaser of Apple than Apple itself. It was for the past several quarters purchasing between about $6 and $11 billion worth of Apple shares per quarter. Usually about seven and a half a quarter, but quite a bit. And then 3 quarters ago, it significantly increased the pace, increased it to roughly $20 billion a quarter. I believe that Tim Cook cannot reduce the pace of this buyback dramatically, or would suffer looking a fool, invite activism against him, and so much criticism. So I think that what's most likely going to occur is that Tim Cook will continue buying back about $20 billion or more per quarter in 2019. Also, if you look at the dividend and equivalence payouts, you can see that over the last several years, Apple has been able to keep its dividend payout between $3 and $4 billion. I believe it's going to continue it in that range, but at the same time, due to the dramatic purchases, that means it should be able to increase its dividend somewhere between 10 and 20% in 2019. Both this dividend increase announcement and the buyback acceleration or continuation should occur in the spring of 2019 and are likely catalysts for the move upwards in Apple price. Okay, in any case, let's go back to the chart and look at what I think is going to happen and also what did happen in the past. So first, let's look back at 2013. You can see that at the end of 2012, Apple started to decline. It entered 2013 kind of weak. It bottomed out during the second quarter or beginning of the third quarter of 2013. And from there on in, it accelerated and performed quite nicely, basically doubling before sort of peaking and beginning another downward trajectory. And that took it from 2015 into 2016. And in 2016, it sort of turned around once again in the second quarter. And from there, it seriously moved upwards. But in between there, many things happened. We had the inclusion of Warren Buffett as a purchaser and then becoming a serious purchaser, a major shareholder, 5% shareholder. So that, and you also had the acceleration of buying back by Apple itself. And I think what you can see is that the stock moved from within a fairly tight trading range during most of 2017 and the beginning of 2018, and then it just broke out and became very overbought, and then corrected dramatically, and then moved oversold, where it currently rests, and I believe is likely to stay for the next few months while some bad news is digested and until the company can announce some better news, which I believe, again, will come in the form of an increased dividend, an increased buyback, and of course, rumors of new product cycle. And of course, there also will be the opportunity for Warren Buffett to announce that he might have purchased more shares or is just very supportive of the company or something like that. It's very unclear what will be the true catalyst for the company. Another strong possibility is that it's just a turnaround in the market because Apple is such a large component. Passive investing and value investing could harmonize and just influx purchases of Apple at a time when the float is shrinking due to the dramatic purchasing of Apple itself that was discussed before. For those reasons, I believe that there will probably be a bottom in Apple shares sometime during Q1 or Q2 of 2019. And thank you.